you identify yourself as an anti-speciesist, and you are currently working in service of animals, which was in the documentary that you were featured in. Can you tell us a bit more about the impact of human overpopulation on animals?
Yeah, currently I'm not there anymore, but I'm helping at another sanctuary. Well, human overpopulation is creating problems to wild animals, and not to the animals that we are trying to help in the farm sanctuaries. But the biggest problem, indirect problem, is the habitat fragmentation, habitat destruction. We keep clearing lands in order to produce food, in order to make railways, highways, and this is destroying the houses, the homes of the wild animals. For example, in Greece, when they made the highway, a very, very big highway that we have a new one, they didn't think at all that this is going to be constructed exactly inside the habitat of bears and wolves. 14 bears were killed in just 3 years, and this is a very big number. So thankfully, the species did not go extinct because it was in an increasing rate at that time. But they made the whole highway without thinking of crossing structures, without fences, without anything. Then in Scandinavian countries, there is the railways, and the elks are using them. I'm so sorry for that. It's the kitten. Motherhood is not only with humans. So elks are using corridors. The railways are corridors, and then they are killed in tens of them. So we have these accidents happening all the time. After there is noise and light pollution, so the more we expand the urban environment, we create problems to birds. For example, they have to change the timing of their singing. They can't communicate with the other birds. They are lowering the breeding success because they have to be vigilant all the time. There is a reduced fitness because of the noise effects. Also, insects, which are the majority of the animals, and no one speaks about them. The nocturnal insects, they have horrible deaths because of the artificial lighting. The light can increase the predation risk and negatively affect orientation abilities for some animals. And in general, the thing is that someone could argue that, okay, all these things are because of technology and because of capitalism, and it's not because of, our species. The problem is that I wanted to think that this is a problem. This is a very comforting idea. But if we think about the history thousands of years ago, for example, a mammoth population, the last mammoth population that was living in Wrangel Island on top of Siberia, they disappeared right after the first Homo sapiens individuals arrived there. And they managed to survive until that moment. Similar things have happened to Australia and New Zealand. For example, in New Zealand, 800 years ago, Maoris arrived there, and just in 200 years, all the megafauna got extinct, along with 60% of birds. So I really didn't want to end up to that conclusion, but I have a fear that we are inherently destructive. So the more we are, the more bad we bring in that world. I wish we could educate everyone and make them change the way they think, the way they live. But it's not, I don't think that it's consumption and civilization. And I think the problem is more complex, and we need to think about it more profoundly and holistically and try to find, how we can be still on that planet without destroying everything and everyone. I don't have the answer, and I don't know if anyone has, but it's a sad conclusion, but it is what it is.
Thank you, Elisabeth. I agree with you that it's a lot more than capitalism and some of the other forces you're talking about. There is a general anthropocentric human supremacist view in our species that all other species exist as resources for us, rather than to be able to allow to exist and thrive in their own right. So I'm very happy that you are doing this anti-speciesist work. And in the work that we do in humane education, these oppressions towards one kind are often linked with oppressions towards others, including humans. So there is a lot of linkages when it comes to oppression. And I think we really need to take a closer look at our own relationship to our planet and to all of life on Earth.